Today we are very excited because we are very lucky to get you.
My name was Ibrahim Yol. I was one of State Department Korean National Service employee who had been working with the U.S. Embassy's Mogadishu, Somalia as a Secretary of Channel Service Office before the Civil War. That was the reason what separated me and my family. When I went to the U.S. Embassy in Kenya, they were helping me, and then all my process would take like 6 months. Then when I came Arizona, resettlement employee who had been doesn't know a lot of immigration issue, and then they were screwed up. Instead of they file I-730, they file affidavit of relationship that they had been filed in 2005. Then we were waiting 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. At that time was when the District 8 Congressional woman Gabrielle Gifford had been injured in Tucson. She was trying to help, communicated with the USCIS and the embassy, and at the end, that process was closed.
Later on, you filed a petition for your family, right?
After that was when I get Jim Clips, who had been filed I-730.
2009, you filed an I-730. And who did you file the I-730 for? How many people?
5 children and their mom.
Okay, so your wife and your 5 children.
Yep.
Okay, you filed this in 2009.
Yep.
Okay? That was 14 years ago?
Almost, yeah.
How long did you wait before, nothing was approved or what happened? It just was stuck?
After 1 month, they were denied. And then they said, cannot bill of it because a sponsorship had been approved and your family were on the way.
Did you refile it? Did you file a new I-730?
At that time, when they denied, my previous lawyer, Chin Kilipsi, who had been in Arizona, take a bill.
Okay.
She takes some document, the sponsorship agency who had been screwed up.
So eventually the I-730 got approved?
Yep.
Okay.
Eventually, when we take the bill, it was approved.
So you get a piece of paper, says I-730 approved.
Approved.
Great. That didn't get the visas approved, right? Then you just went to the interview and
then they forwarded National Visa Center, and National Visa Center was sent to U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, and then USCIS Nairobi went to the refugee camp in the border of Sudan and Uganda, Kakuma refugee camp.
Yes.
And that when they interviewed and they passed it February 2011.
So February 2011, they have interviews.
Yep.
So they have an interview almost 12 years ago. And after the interview, then what?
Stuck.
Nothing.
Nothing.
What did they say?
But we did medical.
The medical that you had been done, the rotation that you had been done was nothing.
Okay.
I was remember when I was coming back to Kakuma, that young Sankaria sitting beside you was asking, Dad, did you work with the U.S. government?
Yeah.
I said, yes, I do. And I said, Dad, you are U.S. citizen? Then I said, yes. And then he said, Dad, why did you bring us before you are U.S. citizen? And you were working with the U.S. government. Why did you bring us? And we are struggling and lost my brother Ahmed and my daughter Hamdi. And I said, I don't know. And when I was coming back, I remember, and I get the bus from Kakuma refugee camp, he was crying. And I said, what are you crying? You met your dad you missed almost 8 years, and I was stayed with you with 2 months. Why you are crying, Zakaria? And then he said, Dad, I was landed without dad. But when you stay 2 months and you take back to the USCIS field, when they take the fingerprint, I was feeling I had a dad. But when I see you were taking a bath, I will go back without dad. Everybody had a dad.
Awesome.
And I didn't see that 8 years a dad. You were going back, and I didn't know when we will meet again.
Hassan, how hard was it for you to be separated from your father? For him, for you, for the family? What does it mean to you?
Really, it was very extremely bad, according to me, because Zakaria and Muhammad and Sabrin, they were younger, too much younger. So I'm the second person who was remembering his dad. and I was the one who laughed at my dad very much, because they were, when the children are maybe they are 3 years to 4 years to, they remember of that, they can forget easily. But when you are just like when your father is living just like about to 10 years or something like that and above, it will be very hard for you to sustain and to live with your father. You don't have advices, you don't have suggestions. When you go to the school, your father will not accompany with you. So it was a very hard life for me. There was hope. I was dreaming that after this, maybe this year is the time when you will go to your father and you will live together. Then the year ends. Then another year starts. Then every year I was dreaming until I lost hope, became the president, and he said there is travel ban for the Somalis and refugees was shut down. Before Trump, I was seeing another refugees like us, those who are traveling to US month after month. So I was expecting one day, 1 month, it will come our day. But when I have seen almost years and there is no refugee one who is traveling in the camp, just like it seems like Americans has closed from the refugees to take to the United States, then I was lost hope that time.
Did you lose hope, Ibrahim?
I was hopeless because I was tired for the Oregon Congress in front.
Yeah.
I was tired in Congress, in Arizona.
It didn't work, did it?
All of them doesn't work. And when you say to you, I was filing for a lawsuit, I said, lawsuit? How can we fight the government? Do you want to prove back to Africa me? No, that's what I said. Yeah.
You thought I was crazy, didn't you?
I said, you were crazy. No one cannot fight the government. That's what I was believing,
You thought I was crazy. But somehow you made a decision to help, to get my help, and you decided to move forward. What were you thinking at the time?
I was saying 50-50. Already you were tried so many options and doesn't work. Let us try this one. If it is work, good. If it doesn't work, you don't have nothing. That's what I was.
I remember our call, and I remember begging you to hire me. I said, you don't know me, but if you hire me, this will be one of your best decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Hassan was encouraging me and said, Dad, don't scare. Do it. The risk and the win are brothers. If you take the risk, you never win. That's what he said. And imagine a person that you never seen. Imagine the person that you met in the Facebook. Imagine the person that has said so many scams had been on the internet. All of that, when you add it, would be, so hard decision to get it.
If there are other people out there like you, they're stuck, they're frustrated, maybe they've given up hope, what is your message to all those people?
I said anyone who had been stuck administration process, we get the key that could be simply open it.
Hassan, how do you feel right now that you've been approved and you're coming to America? How do you feel?
Now I'm feeling very excited. Even I told some of my neighbors, those I know in the Kakuma refugee camp, and they were just like us, and some relatives were in the United States. But when I told our case, they did not realize it will work. So I decided when I just leave, I believe that's when they realize. And I have their contacts that I want to share with them and to tell. Before I met you, when my dad tired of this case, he decided to file a new application I-130 for the family. But unluckily, they said Hassan is already above 21, so you cannot file for him.
Are you excited about your new life coming up in America?
Yes, I'm excited. But still, even that approved, I didn't realize what does it means. Because even that approved meaning it did not satisfy me still.
What would satisfy you when you get off the airplane and you touch the ground?
Yeah, that's one.
Do you have a message for all the Somalian people? Maybe you could speak in your own language and give a message to everyone who's stuck in this situation. What advice would you say, maybe in your own language?
Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magacayga waa Xasan Ibrahim. Waxaan ka qayb galnay barnaamijka lawyerka Joshua la yiraahdo oo xarumo badan oo Mareykanka ka mid ah ku lahan xafiisyo. Marka waan iska baranay Facebook anagoo kiiskeena aabaheen dacwad noo soo xareeyay muddo 15 sano ku dhow anagoo ka rajo dhignay oo macnaha isdhahnay waxaan wax ka soconaya male ayo Ilaahay qadartiisa ninkaan is baranay kadibna aabban ku xiray marka isbartaan wuxuu yiri kiiskan waxbaan ka qaban karaa oo lawsuud wax la yiraahdo isticmaalaya alxamdulillah marka arintii way hirgashay si hadda u muuqato oo hadda kiiskeena waa la approve gareeyay oo bixitaankeena waa la approve gareeyay dhawaan insha Allah waxaan rajaynaynaa inaan baxno marka kaliya maadaama qaab dacwad qaxootinimo ay ahaydna kiisana lama sino ay inta loo wareejiyay refugee marka ayada bixitaankeena diyaarna marka insha Allah wiigagan soo socdo waxaan rajaynaynaa inaan aabaheen iyo walaashan la midowno dadka Soomaalidana waxaan dhihi lahaa oo kiiskan oo kale inaysan isdhiganin ee qosanin ay looyaro xirfad iyo aqoon u la raadiyaan sida annaga kan oo kale intaasan u soo jeedin lahaa. So I told small explanation, but finally I told those who were waiting a long time not to lose hope, but to try to hire a lawyer like Joshua, those who can try to help them to make their visas unstuck or to remove from administrative action.
Do you have a message in your own language for the people out there? What can you add?
waxaan ku dar lahaa magacaygu Ibrahim Xasan Yool waa aabaha shanta caruur ah iyo hooyadood u dacwoonayay 18 sano muddo gaadhaysa anoo weliba markii hore u shaqayn jiray dowladda Mareykanka safaaradii Soomaalidu ay xamar ku lahayd ay 17 u xareeyay 2009kii 14 sano ka hor 13 sano ka horna la ogolaaday ilaa waqtigaana aan la keenin kongareesyadii iyo senataradii intaas badoodayay waxba ka tari waayeen sanadkii laga dhamaaday muddo sanad ku dhowna Joshua uu ka xareeyay dacwad lawsuud ah haddana gabagaba ku dhow ilaahayna waxaan ka rajaynayaa ilmaha ka mid ahaa oo la ii keenay mahay afarta kale iyo hooyadoodba in wiigaga soo socda aan midowno.
Thank you for giving me a chance to help you, and I want to thank you for sharing your story. And I hope to see more of you when you get back to the United States. I love you and your family, and I'm always here to help you.